President Biden is not mincing words when it comes to Governor Abbott's decision to end the mask mandate in Texas.
Texas, I think it's a big mistake. Look, I hope everybody's realized by now, these masks make a difference. The last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it. It still matters.
Medical experts from the federal to local levels are warning it's too soon to get complacent. Meanwhile, Governor Abbott defended his decision yesterday, saying once again, data related to vaccines and hospitalizations backs him up.
By the time this order goes into effect, more than 50% of that vulnerable population will have received a vaccine to make sure that they are not going to be losing their life or be hospitalized.
The mask mandate ends next Wednesday, but businesses can expand to full capacity. On KENS5.com, we have a list of businesses and organizations that will still require masks. If you know of other businesses requiring masks, you can email news@KENS5.com.